What's up, everyone? This week I had a chance to interview Melanie Magee at McKinney ISD in Texas. It was a great interview and we talked about three things. The first thing she did was give 4 tips on how to achieve your goals. I thought the tips were really cool and I think that you'll enjoy trying these tips out. The second thing she described is how their district handled their response to COVID, and I really liked the phased and tiered approach that they took so that the work could evolve over time as they got more information. And then the last tip she provided was just how to make small changes in mindset, and a lot of it has to do with building confidence. So enjoy this video. I think you'll get a lot out of it, and it's very relevant to the things that you're doing today.
Okay. So after hearing Kiera and recognizing the competing commitments that I was having related to finishing my goal, I was able to come home and confront that and then set out some chunks of how I was going to do the work. I had 4 assignments and they were pretty lengthy. And so for each assignment, I just determined for each day of the week and then the weekend, here's how much of the assignment I'm going to do. The beauty of it was once you get into a rhythm, you keep working. So, but it was nice to give myself permission to stop if I needed to stop. And so within 2 weeks, I was able to finish the assignments that I'd really been dragging on since June.
Right. I really like that point that you brought up around giving yourself permission to pause for a minute and then restart. And I'm just curious why that didn't exist before in your mental model.
As an educator, as an administrator, we're really charged with being hard charging, and you keep going. And I think sometimes that means we're either at 0 or we're at 100. And anything in between means you're not doing the work. And so having the permission to start something, but knowing I don't have to plow through it, was liberating.
How does that notion of chunking it out into smaller pieces and pausing at certain moments relate to projects that you're thinking about or doing at the district now? And how would that be beneficial to bigger programs and initiatives that are going on at a district?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we can, for example, use what's happening with our response to COVID-19. Some districts immediately went into digital, online, remote learning. And as a district, we sat down and really looked at, not knowing how long this would last, how we would plan it out. So we started with one phase of just a very small list of resources for parents. Then while that was percolating, it gave us time to produce a much more robust website for parents with enrichment activities and resources. And then while that was being used, it allowed us to help teachers. We developed the teacher expectations for online learning and help gear them up for that process. So I was able really to take what I learned with Kiera and just put it into practice right now.
I love that. I like how you talked about how there was an immediate need, you got it out there, you took that and kind of evolved it to its next phase of development, which was the resource site. And then the next phase was just giving your teachers more confidence and training to execute on the way they needed to utilize those tools. That's fantastic. What are the things that districts might need to put in place in the future so that we can be prepared for that 4th down play or the special teams play? How would you imagine that being put into place?
We've been talking about personalized learning for years. Mm-hmm. And when we need now to personalize our learning based on kids' circumstances, we are finding that we're not very good at it. So what this does, since it has highlighted those deficiencies, that's going to mean that as we go into next year, we're going to have to be better. Mm-hmm. So one of the changes I see is more personalized learning, because we're going to have to start with determining what are students coming in with after having not been schooled traditionally for 9 weeks for most of us. And that's going to require pre-assessment. And with assessment, we've been talking about pre-assessment for years, but what most of us do is we pre-assess kids and we look at it and we still teach the way we were going to teach anyway. This is going to require us to pre-assess and to actually put kids on mastery paths based on where they start. It would be unfair. There are some kids who are going to show up next year and they're going to be just fine. It will not, they might even show they're ahead because they've been able to research and enrich on their own. It would be unfair for us to just repeat this last 9 weeks. And so we've got to start out with, where is that student right now based on what they would have learned this semester or this 9 weeks? And how are we going to fill the gaps so that we can start with new learning?
How do you change that mindset a little bit at the classroom level where, a teacher might think, I teach this class or this grade level? And how do we help them realize that they have the skill and capability to teach beyond the exact grade bands that they're in order to meet the needs of kids that are at different places, or even not following the exact scope and sequence that the district might provide?
Most of that has to do with the professional learning, ensuring that teachers have the tools to either remediate or accelerate students or enrich students when they need to. But a big piece of that is what is on the paper. I say to our content coordinators all the time, if I'm a teacher and you're asking me to enrich, I need you to give me some very concrete ways to do that allows me to choose. You don't have to script it for me, but I need some ideas.
Yeah.
And too often in education, we just tell teachers just to go and do it without providing them the how, so that they feel more confident, because it's that confidence that comes before the competence in anything that we do.